Mm-hmm.
How can we not give him access to Walker?
We've never said that. We talked about that at the last meeting, and that he would have to go through the process. If you go out what's out there now, there is nothing shown as access to that lot.
Well, the plat shows that there's access to that lot.
It doesn't show it as access, it just shows it as property there. There was no culvert, there's no.
You guys, I wasn't here at the last
Yeah.
meeting, so you did discuss this at the last meeting?
But, Mr. DeVore brought it up, did he not? He had a question.
Yes.
He had been approached by
Right.
him, and he talked about it, and what he indicated was that the gentleman had access from Edgewood. He was accessing his property from Edgewood,
Right.
and
And
now.
we got a response, we can give you a
I-
response to this.
No, he did mention
Where's our
that he
response?
appreciated your quick response, and he
Okay.
didn't agree with it, but he did appreciate the tenor of the letter and the responsiveness of DOT. So I
Okay.
wanted to pass that on. But let's say that he wants to sell that parcel. It's a platted parcel.
Right,
And if he sells it, it has no access.
He can get access. The
Right.
contention has never been that we're prohibiting access to that parcel from Walkup Road.
Okay?
The request that he had made was that we build him a driveway. And we went through the documentation, and there never was a driveway in existence for us to replace as part of this project. So,
Well, see, that's where we disagree, I guess, is whether there was a driveway in place. If you look at the plat, that plat certainly indicates that was designated as ingress, egress to that
There's-
parcel.
there's designation versus physically what exists. You can get you can have
So
approval to do something.
If I lived on Walkup and I didn't use my driveway for 20 years, it would no longer be considered accessible, is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. There was no evidence that there was a driveway there. He drove through the grass ditch, and when our design plans were done, there was no reason for anyone to believe there was a driveway. There was no gravel, there was no culvert, no asphalt. It was just a grass ditch. Therefore, there was not a driveway proposed.
He may have used it, but he was using it unauthorized in the sense that it wasn't built to county standards for an access.
Right, but at that point in time, it was usable for him.
Well, define usable.
Well, that he could actually get his camper
Correct.
in and out of it.
If it was dry enough,
Yeah,
he
right.
didn't have a
But
surface.
But now we have left that situation where that's impossible with the additional distance. There's not much, but it leaves him in a position where his camper will hang up even trying to get in.
And there's now a ditch and a barrier curb.
You know, as an individual on the committee here, I understand the engineering process. And I totally agree with the approach that you've taken. Until I look at the plat, and I just don't feel we can leave an individual with a piece of property that is totally unusable at this point in time.
We don't build anyone a driveway at our expense. If they have a driveway there and our project affects it, we go back and repair the driveway. So now he is in a position of needing to build a driveway just as if he built a new house on an empty lot. He's got to build the driveway. We don't build it for him. And that's what he's been told, is my understanding, is he needs to apply for a permit to build a driveway because there was no driveway there before.
So what he's really applying to us is access to walk-up. It's not we don't give the driveway permit, we're just giving him access.
No, we're not denying him at all.
Access. Can I ask Mr. Breeden, when I'm looking at the map here with the parcels indicated, is that strip given its own parcel ID number? It exists as a separate piece of property. It's not necessarily
That's a
even
separate piece of
it's not
property.
even tied in.
Separate platted piece of property.
Okay.
correct, that abuts Walkup Road.
yeah.
So in a, in our policies and law, we are to provide reasonable access to everyone who has a piece of
To
property.
every parcel of
Every
property.
parcel. So if that parcel was
access.
contiguous, same PIN number all the way around to Edgewood, we could say, your access is via Edgewood Road, you don't get access to walk-up. In this case, we wouldn't do that because the only way to get access to that PIN number is via walk-up road. So we would allow him the opportunity to have an access on a walk-up road. We would not deny that, and that has been communicated to him.
Okay, and I'm assuming because right now it looks to me with what has been highlighted, that property owner owns the large, interesting shaped piece, and then the regular shaped piece that
Yeah,
does
sure.
have Edgewood
Right.
access. And what he's concerned about now moving forward is if he chose to subdivide or sell off that large parcel, how would that have access?
Right.
Because if he kept the Edgewood property, okay. But in moving forward, if he chose to do that, that all he would have to do is apply to the Division of Transportation for access to it, that would be granted. What is the cost of that right now,
I
Wally?
believe it's a $150 permit. I have to go look at the permit fees for minor access, driveway access, and plus actually.
Engineering wise,
The cost
cost
of it.
wise, what do you project would cost him to put a culvert in and
Culvert fill, cut the back of curb off.
He's probably looking
Plus
at a couple
asphalt,
$1,000 to build a driveway.
see, this all kind of comes back to the perception of McDowell in the county with regard to dealing with individuals. And I think it would go a long way if we would go in and give him access to that platted parcel.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and what I'm gonna say is, in my dealings with Mr. Stevens, who was another one of the constituents on walk-up that had some concerns, when we were going through the process, when there were the public hearings and when people were asking questions, had I been this property owner, and I don't know historically, was he even present at those? That would have maybe been the time to ask, you know, how is
I
this
asked him
going?
that question, and he said that he thought that it would naturally be done, because, you know, if you look at the parcel, it's pretty descriptive with regard to that is ingress, egress to that piece of property.
Well, it
But
certainly
I
looks
think
as.
Mark's point is that way, just because a piece of property has
I
frontage,
understand that.
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that we're out there building it, because there's parcels along every road, especially in the rural part of the county, that don't have any driveways.
If we were to do it, we'd have to put together a set of plans and specifications and what to bid on it. I mean, that's, you know,
Right.
that's.
Well, and then in defense of that, the property that's immediately south of it that I'm looking at the picture of, it doesn't have access to walk up. I'm assuming their driveway is off of Edgewood also, and we
believe so,
didn't go
yes.
in
Right.
and put in a driveway there for that property owner either. So, you know what, I don't think it's our position to be overthinking. What my contention is that during the process, this is when we answer those questions. If that property owner foresaw that at some point in time, he was no longer gonna want, he obviously made the decision to put his driveway in
And
off of
I totally
Edgewood.
agree with that, but I also feel that, you know, perception and, you know, public interest in what we do and how we do it, we can buy an awful lot for a couple $1,000. If it's gonna cost the county $3,000 to improve that entrance, and make an individual whole with regard to his property, I think that's money well spent.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I think you've made an eloquent argument. I think everybody should think about it in moving forward. If it's something we'd like to bring back for a discussion, when you're dealing with this individual, his concern is because he's seen the project now, it doesn't sound like he is looking to divest himself of this property right now, so that the driveway
He's
is.
an elderly gentleman, probably my age.
So, no, so you think he is? So you think I don't think he
No, I
was
think-
elderly, Scott. So this is
No.
just in the future. This is
Exactly.
something in the future
Exactly.
that he's looking for. Okay, again, I appreciate your bringing this forward for us. You filled in more of the information that Mr. Ward didn't seem to have, but I appreciate he did not have the map with him that he was showing us.